Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today we're going to talk about the 1957 United States dime. We have the three different dimes that were made in 1957 right here. We have the proof dime in the center, and this is a hard one to light, but you can see that's the proof dime, shiny thing. This is not a cameo one. Over here on the right, we have the Denver dime, but you can't tell it's Denver yet, not till we turn it over. And then here we have the Philadelphia regular dime, not the proof dime. We also are going to talk about some of these other coins here. Here's a 57 penny, and this is one of my favorite pennies ever. You'll see why as we go through the video. This is a dime from the 1800s, and this is a half dime from the 1800s. And then way over here is a square coin. This came through our channel this week, and I just want to take a look at this after we've gone over the 1957 dime. So let's get those 57 dimes out here. And this one right here, you can see this is 1957. It has some nice coloring on it here. A little bit of yellow in there. But you can also see it's very, very worn down. Right now, these dimes, it's hard to get one for much under $5. They have almost $3 just in silver value alone. They're not the most collectible coins in the world, but there are some really expensive ones. So 1957, we see a JS down there for John Sinek, the engraver of the dime. In God We Trust, Liberty here in front of Roosevelt. We tip it up on its side. We don't see any of the copper that's in the modern dimes. This is a 90% silver, 10% copper dime. Then we get onto the back and we see this one is a beat up old dime. Actually hard to read all the stuff on there. It says United States of America at the top, one dime here, E pluribus unum through the center. We have our olive branch here and our oak sprig here. And then we have this torch in the center and you can't see any lines in it. That means this is going to be an extremely low value dime. The most value in this dime is just going to be in the bullion or silver melt value alone. Heritage Auctions, however, has seen some really good 1957 dimes. The auction record is $2,233, but PCGS has graded some Mint State 67 pluses that they say are worth about $4,500. So look for the really good dimes out there. You look on the back and you see that there's no mint mark here down by the torch. You know that means it's a Philadelphia dime. But you may get one like this from 1957, and if you do, it's a Philadelphia dime from 1957 with no mint mark, but Philadelphia also made the proof coin. So this is a 1957 proof coin, and you can see all the lines on here, so not hugely valuable. This one right here is probably worth $8 to $10. You see we got the two lines at the top, we got the two bands at the bottom, and you got the lines going through. You see a little bit of stuff on here, but don't worry about the stuff on here because these coins, some of this actually adds to the value. And we'll show you some really good ones on the PCGS website. Now, once in a while, you're going to get a dime that looks like this from the 50s. A lot of them from the late 50s, 57, 58, with all this coloring on it. And you're going to go, geez, I wish it just looked better than that. Well, it turns out that a lot of collectors like the ones that look like this. They call this a patina. And you can see just incredible colors. This is the rainbow coloring that many collectors really like. Look at that blue down there. And then if you go back, you'll see that this coin sold for $2,588 in 2011. So if you get one like this, don't be disappointed. This could be even more valuable. All right, let's get back to our coins. If you are trying to find the mint mark, you're going to have to go to the 1957 Denver dime. So you take the 1957 dime, you flip it over, and you look down here at the bottom of the torch, and you see there's a D there. No P's for Philadelphia, but a D for Denver, and they didn't make them at the San Francisco Mint in 1957, so the only letter you'll ever see on a 1957 dime is going to be the D. There are some very, very, very valuable 1957 dimes, but you got to have the full torch bands or full torch lines on it. This one doesn't. If you do have the full torch bands on it, it can be worth as much as $8,000. PCGS has graded 2 Mint State 68s at that value. Another thing you may find on a 1957 dime, if you get a really good one, is what's called a double die obverse. And that is when you see doubling in the letters. This coin is in such bad shape that you couldn't even tell probably if it had doubling in the letters. But if you do get one that's in good shape that has a doubling, there's a Proof 68 that's on eBay right now for $4,990 plus free shipping. Well, how many did they make? Well, at the Philadelphia Mint, for the no mint mark dimes, they made 160 million of them. So there's plenty of them out there. So chances are it's not going to be worth much more than silver value. For the Denver Mint dimes, they made 113.5 million. And so there's plenty of these out there also. You won't have a hard time finding them. You're just going to have to spend close to $5 because the silver value is up around $3. Now there are some really, really expensive coins from 1957, and one of them is the penny. Now this is not that penny, but I love this penny because it doesn't have all of the 7 on it. The 7 got kind of misplaced and bent and doesn't have a top on it. And so this one is a 1950 slash dime, we call it sometimes. We're pretty sure it's a 57. The 1 doesn't look the same as a 1 would look. The 4 has a different shape than that. So I think it's a 7 that just got kind of beat up at the mint and got into circulation. But if you find a 1957 red that's in incredibly good shape, like this one we're going to show you, it could be worth a huge amount of money. So here's that 1957 red. For the most expensive coins from 1957, you don't need to look any further than the Lincoln penny. They have some Lincoln pennies that have sold for over $20,000. And you can see this one here is just a beautiful condition. It's a red mint state 67 plus. They found 3 of them. One of them sold at auction for $20,400 in 2022, so really recently, and PCGS prices them at about $20,000. Okay, well, we're back with our coins, and we had one other coin we wanted to show you today, and that is this George VI King Emperor, and you know it's something to do with Great Britain, or the United Kingdom as we call it now. It's a square coin with a funny edge on it, and you see Commissioners of Currency Malaya 1940. So this is right at the start of World War II. Malaya, or what's now part of Malaysia, was a British protectorate, and this is a 1-cent coin from that country, and just a beauty. If you find these oddly shaped or interesting coins, always keep them because they're kind of fun to have them around. Kind of a weird coin, and that is they didn't always make nickels. When they first started making them, they made the half dime. So they had the full dime, and this one here is from 1854. This is Seated Liberty dime, 1854. And this is the half dime from 1872. It is much smaller. In fact, it weighs exactly half as much. So here's the half dime and the dime from the 1800s. We don't have the half dime anymore. We have nickels in the United States. 5-cent coins, not half dimes. There's our 1957 Denver. There's our 1957 Philly. And here is the proof coin. All right, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Love to have you subscribe to the channel and leave any comments you have in the comment section.